and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Barber? Here. Mr. Irwin?
Here.
Mr. Langley?
Still here.
Mr. Douglas?
Here.
Mr. McDonald is excused. Our attorney, Mr. Favreau. Water and Sewer, King. Mr. Tatro. Highway Department, Superintendent Mike Farrell. Bob Gwinnett, our zoning officer. Dave Gillette, our dog control officer. Ms. Barber, our secretary.
Thank you. All right, number 4, we need a motion to approve the minutes for the town board regular meeting of August 12th, 2019.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Bowman?
I'll second.
Mr. Irwin? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 5, community input. Rick, is there anything on there?
No.
You get one more shot at it thereafter. Thank you. Okay, a resolution and a discussion declaring the town as lead agency in secret for the negative declaration.
That negative declaration means there's no issue.
I'm sorry, yeah, there's a resolution, I'm sorry, now what was that?
There's a question whether that was
Yeah.
negative, it means there's no issue.
There's a resolution declaring the town as lead agent for seeking negative declaration. I need a motion and a second. Motion by
Like, we're gonna do two different motions. One to declare the town as the agency, let's do that one first.
Okay. So we'll make a promotion then to make the town as the lead agent.
I'll second.
Matt?
Let's vote up.
All in favor?
All right, so now we'll complete the secret process. Mr. Gwinnett, our comparable zoning officer, has completed part 1. We can go through the questions for part 2. I'll be happy to read the questions for part 2. The answers are either no or small impact, that's one answer, or moderate to large impact. So when I say that, most of these are going to say, well, the proposed action, just for a reminder, the proposed action is to change the zoning map from commercial to residential in the district that we've been discussing. So will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? I would say no or small impact, and it's just putting on paper what we're doing. Will the proposed, we're going to keep the official one, right?
Yes.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of the land? I would say no. Everybody agree? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? I would say no. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? And I would say no. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect the existing infrastructure for mass transit, bike, or walkway? Talking about just the zoning amendment, I would say no, but what may develop there is a different question, but that's for down the road. So this is just regarding changing the zoning, so I would say no. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Again, we're just changing the map, so I would say no. Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies or wastewater treatment utilities? Again, as the map changed, so I would say no to both of those. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? Let's say no. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands or water bodies? Is that over there, Bob? Is that right? Yeah, wetlands and water bodies over there.
Just a small piece, wait, but it's wait.
So not on that
Yeah.
valley. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? That's a no. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? That's no. So if everybody agrees that those are all no's, then I would offer that that there is, that somebody make a motion that this is a negative declaration as far as seeker is concerned, and that the board affirm that decision as such, as a seeker negative declaration. So I'd ask somebody to make that motion if everybody agrees.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Barber,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Lehman. All in favor?
Aye.
So item number 7, the actual motion to amend the zoning map. Just for the record, a public hearing was held this evening. The board was available to take comments. I believe there was one member of the public who came and asked questions and made comments. The town then declared itself lead agency, and there was a resolution declaring a negative declaration as far as seeker goes. So with all that procedural history in the back, what's on the table now is a resolution and discussion to amend the zoning map as we've been discussing.
You have a motion for that?
I would make the motion that we amend the zoning map for commercial and residential.
I'll second.
Made by Mr. Lehman, second by Mr. Berlin. That's number 6.
So,
Just see what happened to the county, right, Bob?
yep, there's 239 in there,
When they
the
approved it.
decision, yep.
We did go to the county for referral, the county affirmed the decision, or approved the decision, the town to do this.
I believe it just said local matter. Approved, no.
Yeah, I think it said approved.
It says local matter.
Yeah, it said approval,
Okay,
without comment.
all right,
You did a good job.
thank you.
I said we.
Here.
There is a resolution I can read, because it kind of encompasses both of these things. So if you want me to read a resolution declaring the town as lead agency in a negative secret declaration, just procedurally, it puts into effect everything we did. Whereas the town board of the town approves considering action by the town approved planning board to amend the zoning map dated December 23rd, 2013 for 4 parcels currently zoned as commercial to become residential. Whereas the applicant has requested the town approval of this proposed action. Whereas the proposed action is an unlisted action within the requirements of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and seeker. Whereas the New York State Environmental Quality Review requires the town to determine the lead agency status and the lead agency making a secret determination. Whereas the town board agrees to assume lead agency status on August 26, 2019. Whereas pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law and the Code of the Town of Peru, the town board has prepared the short form environmental assessment form, which is now on file with the town board and the town seeker officer. And whereas the Clinton County Planning Board made a decision in compliance with New York State General Municipal Law, Article 12B, Section 239M, zoning referral, that the proposed action was approved on August 7, 2019. And whereas the town approved board has reviewed the proposed action and on August 26, 2019, recommended to the town board the approval of the proposed action. Now therefore be resolved as follows, that the town board as lead agency has determined that the proposed action is an unlisted action under seeker. The town of Peru as lead agency hereby determines that the illicit action described in the attached seeker negative declaration notice of determination of non-significance, which attached notice is hereby made a part of this resolution, will not have a significant effect on the environment, and that the environmental impact statement is not required to be prepared with respect to the proposed action. Be resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately. We just made a motion to do that, we can do it pursuant to this resolution, now take a vote based on this resolution if you want.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Langwood?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
So I guess there is a proposed resolution to amend the zoning map, and that will
Okay, so we're gonna need the resolution that for number 7, that's a resolution amending the zoning map, which we had the public hearing on. You want to read that?
You want to read it? Yeah.
Okay, I just need a motion though first. Mr. Langley and Mr. Owen, I'm going to check. Roll call. Okay.
All right, resolution amending the zoning map of the town of Peru pursuant to section 801 of the town zoning ordinance, New York Municipal Home Rule Law, section 10, and New York Town Law, section 261. Whereas pursuant to Article 8, Section 801, Number 4 of the zoning law, Town of Peru, the zoning map may be amended, supplemented, or repealed from time to time by the Town Board of the Town of Peru on its own motion. And whereas on August 26, 2019, the Town Board adopted Resolution Number 19.08.26-1, proposing to amend the zoning map as recommended, more specifically amending 4 parcels from commercial to residential by the Town of Peru Zoning Board of Appeals. And whereas the Town Board of Peru accepts the recommendation of the Town of Peru Zoning Board of Appeals. And whereas the Town Board of Peru wishes to take further action pursuant to Article 8, Section 801, Number 4 of the Code of the Town of Peru to amend the zoning map. And whereas the Town Board held a duly noticed public hearing on the application in the Town of Peru pursuant to Resolution Number 19.07.22-2 to consider the proposed amendment to the zoning map affecting the subject properties and providing all persons attending the meeting an opportunity to be heard. And whereas on August 26, 2019, the Town Board of the Town of Peru as lead agency having conducted a coordinated secret review of the proposed action, and as lead agency considered the whole action and found the proposed type 1 action will not have a significant effect on the environment and issued a negative declaration for the project pursuant to Resolution 19.08.26-1. I believe we said this is an unlisted action, not a type 1 action. So the proposed action is an unlisted action.
Very good.
Whereas the matter was referred to the Clinton County Planning Board to determine the matter to be a local issue, to approve the matter pursuant to a decision dated August 7, 2019, and now therefore be resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Peru, the regular session will be as follows. Section 1, the zoning map dated June 11, 2019, adopted pursuant to Resolution 19.08.26-2, more fully described and shown in Appendix A, is hereby amended to change 4 parcels from commercial to residential, as shown on the map depicted in Appendix B. Section 2, the zoning map dated June 11, 2019, attached here to is Appendix C, is hereby adopted as the official zoning map of the Town of Peru, declared to be a part of the zoning ordinance and hereafter referred to as the zoning map. And when signed and sealed as described in Section 12 below, shall be the final authority as to the current zoning classification of any land within the Town of Peru unless subsequently amended or by resolution or local law. Section 3, appendices A, B, and C are attached here to and incorporated herein. Section 4, the town clerk is hereby directed to permanently preserve a copy of the zoning map existing before the adoption of this resolution and to permanently preserve in the town clerk's office the official zoning map created pursuant to this resolution after it has been hand-signed and dated by the town supervisor of the Town of Peru. Section 5, this resolution shall take effect immediately, shall be dated August 26, 2019. Just one thing, I think I read it wrong, that the current zoning map is not dated June 11, 2019. Is that
The one that is presented to the town board. The current zoning map is dated December 23rd, 2013.
That's the one we're amending, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
So section 1, I'm just going to amend that at the bottom of this resolution. What's the date again? Sorry.
12/23/13.
12/23/13. The zoning map dated 12/23/13 is the one that's being amended tonight.
That's right.
Okay. So that map, no.
Yes, but I'm in the error in the second whereas and third whereas. It shouldn't have been by the zoning board of appeals,
It's not
it
by-
should have just been the
Town
town board.
Town board, yeah.
All right. So just so everybody's aware, we're amending a zoning map from December 23rd, 2013 that was adopted at the time by the Town Board of the Town of Peru. That's being amended pursuant to the appendices on this resolution. And those appendices were the ones that were heard and noticed for the public hearing tonight, and that's what's being amended tonight. Does everybody understand that? Understand that?
Yeah.
Sorry for my word salad.
So we need a roll call.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, so the resolution and discussion on the wastewater plant clarified equipment purchase. Number 8, it's a resolution to purchase the DPC equipment. I think we talked about it at the last meeting, right? And equipment is So I need a motion and a second, please.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Barber.
I'll second.
A resolution to purchase EPC equipment from Corrosion Products and equipment for the wastewater plant clarifier system by the town of Peru Sewer Department. Whereas the town of Peru Town Board has found a need for new EPC equipment for the wastewater plant clarifier system for the town's sewer department at a price of $12,455, including shipping. And whereas the town board and the sewer department superintendent have determined that the new fiberglass trowels, custom brackets, no-print gaskets, stainless steel hardware, the VPC equipment offered by Corrosion Products and equipment would enable the town to provide a continued level of quality service to the town's residents at a reasonable price. Now it is be resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to sign all paperwork to execute this purchase as soon as possible. Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Earl?
Yes.
Yes.
Anything you want to add to that? I mean, you're all set.
Was the, which of the three options?
Okay, number 9. It's the anti-discrimination harassment training for volunteers. Pam put that in there. We got that from Pat Davis, who is from Northern Insurance. I can read it, and I guess she highlighted it, so it's a law as of October. He just said, I want to reach out and let you all know that NYMER is offering a training seminar May 1st at the Rainbow Banquet Hall. Matt, I don't know, I mean, we talked to the youth committee, or John, right, and they're going to talk to, it's just required, as you know, all employees, volunteers, board members, part-time employees, no exception are required by New York State, New York legislation to be trained by October of this year, so.
Now,
She did.
What happens if these volunteers don't go?
Ultimately, that'd be up to the board, but the potential problem that I would see is if the state is mandating somebody, even a volunteer, take certain training, that, assuming for the argument somebody does take the training and then, say, is alleged to have committed something like sexual harassment and then they didn't take the training, the town is really in a tough spot as far as letting that person continue in even in the volunteer capacity. You're working basically on behalf of the town, you're not getting paid, but you're still representing the town. If they've done something that violates the law, which would be not taking training and then commit the exact act that the training is supposed to stop, then the town potential liability is, I would think, very high. And that's why I think our insurance company is saying, hey, make sure everybody takes this training because you don't want to be sued for this. This is a big thing in New York. I mean, county employees, everybody's out there taking this training right now. I had to do it to Coach Lily this year, even to help Coach Lily to take all this stuff. So it's not a joke. It's not something that you can get around. It's just something that's got to be done. Like speed limit. You might not agree with it, but you got to do it right now. So I think it's an hour commitment at the most to take this training. And volunteers already do way too much and don't get paid enough, so it's an additional burden. I get that, but we're kind of stuck with it.
Is there anything online that can cover?
According to Bonnie Black, if it's online, then you have to have someone sitting there with you to monitor that you're doing it and it's interactive.
So the one I took through the county was online. We watched like a 20-minute segment, and you had to answer 5 or 6 questions about the segment you just watched before you could move on. To make sure you're not just, and it wasn't questions that were common sense, it was like little things you pick apart in that segment, so you could tell that you actually paid attention to it. And it was a sexual harassment training. I had to do it when I started working for the DA's office part-time. And it's an hour and 10 minutes. You get a certificate, turn out when you're done. So that would, I'll send you guys that for the town approval. But I don't understand why everybody couldn't take it online if they wanted to do that same exact webinar with an expert, what it's called.
With the fire department. Yeah, they're going on.
Online?
It would be very convenient.
Much more.
I'll talk to Kim, I'll see if I can get through to her account, because she's the one that sent me the link to do it.
I sent her an email and I said it was the wrong email address and I
Okay.
don't understand why.
If you think of it tomorrow, just text me or remind me tomorrow, I'll reach out to her. That's what I was saying, so, I mean, if everybody does that on their own time business certificate, there's no cost to it, I don't believe at all, from the user, and maybe the town will have to pay, set people up.
Are they able to print a certificate up at the end too?
Yeah, right there, so what, he sent you one electronically, I had to send it to Kim at the county, so they keep their records, I kept one for me, and that way I can use that for everybody else and say, hey, if you have to take the training, you should do it, yep, here you go. So I would think, a lot of people, a lot of volunteers, I would think in their day-to-day job, would maybe have had to take this or will have to take this, so you could double dip, so to speak, and if you're taking it from one agency, it's the same training, you can use that certificate or that evidence of completion across the board. So like, Courtney, if you have to take it here, you don't take it again, probably for the fire department, I don't think, right?
Yeah, aside from that, yeah. It's been discussed.
Which that's part of the big question. It's, I know 3 people on one of the planning or zoning board, they've taken it somewhere else. But according to Bonnie Black, they had to do hours because otherwise how would they know who to contact? And they wouldn't have our policy and they wouldn't know who to contact if indeed it did happen or they saw it and they were reporting it. So
Can have our policy as well.
our anti-discrimination and sexual harassment policy.
But we're not getting trained based on the rules, regulations, and that policy, right? We're getting, whoever's doing training is not doing it just based on our policy, right?
No, they're doing, Bonnie Black is doing the state training. But what she's saying is if they don't take hours, then they wouldn't have,
Isn't that explain who you report to? That paper that we were all given?
yes.
So that's on every facility.
But, yeah, I don't know, I'm just relaying
That
myself.
side of it sounds, I mean, that side of it first sounds a little bit strange.
I thought we had come to an agreement with her that one of our employers were to write us, that would be coming from them, that they took this training through them.
That's what Matt had said.
Yeah.
Not Bonnie.
Did we ask her that, though, you and I? I thought she said as long as we got that from their employer,
Where's Matt?
oh,
It's not, yeah, so my thought was if the employer, even the employer, I mean, you can't, I guess you could take the certificate, so if you're going to that lane to get out of an hour one of these classes, I can't see that you're gonna volunteer, but if the employee, the volunteer gives us a certificate or some proof of completion of one of these classes, I'm happy to look at each one of them individually and make sure I think they're okay. I can't imagine any of these are not gonna be okay, they're pretty standard training, so.
Matt, not that it would relieve the town of any responsibility, but when I received the town's employee handbook, I signed for it that said that right, isn't there something I signed? So if you gave some of the policy, the policy that said,
Before October, we're going to get the answer yes, but that was they said you have to take these trainings.
Okay.
So even if you have a policy, you
Yep.
still have to take this training,
Right.
which basically means
right,
we have a policy, everybody's got it, but
Mhm.
it's just kind of a double liability shield where if they don't take it now after we're being told they have to, we're in a little bit more.
Yeah, what Bonnie Black did say is if we had some kind of word at the bottom saying, I'm aware of the policy and I am refusing to take the town of Peru's training, that would help relieve the town of,
Well, we could give a piece of paper saying the contact person from the town of Peru or whoever they're dealing with, and give them that information individually.
I'm going to do that.
And the other side of that is the person says, I have the town policy, I'm refusing to take the town training. That person then allegedly sexually harasses somebody. The victim's attorney holds up this piece of paper and said, you guys let somebody work for me that refused to take this training and then my client got harassed. I don't like that idea.
So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're trying to keep the town clear of litigation, but by the same token, That's where you get paid the big bucks, so you can make the decision.
As our attorney then, and not disputing what Bonnie Black said.
No, just
What-
make a decision so I can relay it.
I would want, why don't I talk to Ed Davis, one of these scenarios by him, because ultimately it's the insurance company that's gonna pony up money if there's a problem or not. So I wanna get in writing exactly from him, what they would like, what their experience says, what's good, bad, and different about this. And if he's saying, no, everybody needs to take a town-approved specific training, then it's up to the board what you want to do, but that would be compelling to me as what we expect. If he says any training out there is fine, as long as it's a certified section around the training, that's the decision we can make. So, we've got about another month before we deal with this. I'll talk to Ed as soon as possible and let everybody know what he says, and we'll deal with it next meeting based on that information.
Because that would really get us off the road that says, you know, who's the area.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that? I think that was, thank you. Discussion, planning and zoning board vacancies. Bobby, you want to just?
Yeah, sure.
A little bit?
I think the board's aware that we had a public hearing scheduled a few weeks back with the planning board, and we couldn't get a quorum together. We had new members out. So we had to reschedule the public hearing for this Wednesday on the 26th, excuse me, 28th. We were able to do that just by the skin of our teeth, because they have to have 10 days notice in the paper and such. So there's certainly a need on the planning board for some, I would say, alternate members. And for the zoning board, we have a couple of members that are going to be resigning soon. And we are a 5-member board, so certainly need members on both board. We're alternates for the planning board and some full-time members for the zoning boards. So I would say, John, if you could put a blurb, please, on your Peru Gazette, that would certainly help us get the word out. I know it's been on the board, on the electronic board at the gazebo, and we haven't had anyone step forward, but the need is very important now. Some of the projects that were put off, some of the biggest projects the town's seen in a few years here, were put off till the Wednesday meeting, so that's where we're at.
I think we're gonna have to consider down the road, maybe combining those two boards and just look at that. I mean, that's embarrassing what happened the other night.
Yeah.
My question was not, so it was that, I'm sure it's small, but like what happened, we had the 9 months in board membership. Is there any chance that a board member could be like an alternate in an emergency case like that?
Well, even Eastport can have alternates, but if
Yeah, but they don't, but I mean, but
Town
we
board
have
members.
some town
Talking
board
about
members.
an at-large member.
well,
I see.
So,
so you could be a
Hypothetically.
because you're on the town, you can substitute for people on another subcommittee or whatever, so.
I don't think it's, I'm happy to look at it. I would think there's a potential for a lot of inherent conflicts there.
Yeah, it's a conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Because there's supposed to be a,
It's
what's
supposed to be an independent board, I think you wouldn't,
There's a word for it.
yeah, probably a couple words for it. But yeah, I mean, it's, so what happened if the people, was it unexpected that people didn't show up, or did you know ahead of time?
We had two folks that had excused absences, and then someone else didn't show up. I mean, we had just 7 members of the zoning board and, planning board, so actually 3 people didn't show up. 3 excused absences, and then the 4th person held up, so. Really,
What would be the procedure moving towards one board, combined board?
I don't know, I think you'd have problems with that too, because I could see a scenario where, you know, if a planning board really wants a project to go through, but it needs a variance to get it, you wouldn't want somebody that really wants a project to go through a planning board to, you know, make a decision whether or not to grant a variance, because they should be very independent decisions, because there's very different criteria.
Rouse's Point is combined. Any idea how that's working?
I don't, I'd be happy to look, I'll talk to their attorney and see what, I think Mr. Murray, I'll see what he thinks, he's been doing it a while. It seems, I mean, if it's able to be done, great, we can talk about it, I just see the possibility for inherent conflicts.
Can't be any worse than what we had the other night.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you can't throw the baby out with bathwater to reform. It's not like it's every,
Yeah, it's the first, Richard Williams, the chairman of the planning board, said that in as many years as he's been on the planning board, that's never occurred.
Ooh, I disagree with that.
What's that?
I've seen that happen before.
Where they haven't had a quorum? Okay, well,
Yeah. Or the zoning, I'm not sure which, but it's happened.
okay, yeah.
Not, big or small, but it was like,
but it's just getting very hard to get volunteers no matter what. I mean, it's getting worse than it used to be. And, if you work, have a few people that are alternates, that are educated, and kept up to speed on stuff that's going to be voted on in some circumstances.
So, John, you'll put that out there too and see if you can recruit
I
some.
think sometimes.
Try.
We look at it the wrong way. Past members, it would be nice that we could just use you this one time, maybe that they would come back to one, because they're already educated on it. But they haven't had their, they're supposed to have training once a year or whatever.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, generally alternates too will go to every meeting. They may not be able to vote at that meeting, but they're there, they can participate, they can ask questions, they just can't vote. So alternates shouldn't necessarily be under the impression that you only go when you're called upon. If it's a board that's functioning well, you have a full board plus maybe an alternate each meeting, so if somebody does drop out the next time, that alternate is heard.
but that's kind of like when you play sports and, you
Yeah.
practice all week and then you drive the,
Yeah, well, it's-
for the game.
It's
so.
not easy by any stretch. But I mean, you have complicated projects like the Stewards where it's gonna be at 3 or 4 different meetings. It's hard to jump in at the third one.
Even if you've got a 7-member board or whatever number you've got, I mean, if you're talking 4 people for quorums, you could have 2 people missing, you still have a quorum, which is what we're after.
Right. Maybe you wanna look at dropping, is there a requirement that the planning board's gotta be 7 members? We could drop to 5.
Remember, we've had this discussion, they didn't want to get smaller, so. We've tried different avenues.
Yeah.
If that's what they want, fine, but they gotta show up.
Well,
They're volunteers, so
We'll
we
go
can't.
4 to 7 at one time.
Yes.
We did change one, but.
Zoning board went down to 5 members.
So maybe it's a good time to bring it back up.
And you could change it to 5 to keep the 7 members and have 2 alternates so that your quorum doesn't need to be as many. You still have hopefully the same amount of participation.
Well, again, it was one time.
So that's a good thing too.
Yeah, and that's it, and hopefully that it doesn't happen to
It's
it
not gonna
again.
be the one you
Right.
want.
Yeah, right.
When those things happen.
It was these stewards and they came out and thank goodness they're very,
Of course, it was when the weather's nice.
I'm sorry.
When the weather's nice.
It's got a tough time of year.
Yeah. Okay, number 11. We need a motion, it's a resolution approving the town median work, milling and paving quote with Love Brothers for the school work on School Street and authorizing the supervisor to execute the same. I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Irwin?
I'll second.
Mr. Carter?
A resolution approving the town's median work milling and paving quote with Luck Brothers Incorporated for the work on School Street and authorizing the supervisor to execute the same. Whereas the town board has the town median work milling and paving quote between the town of Peru and Luck Brothers Incorporated before it now therefore be it. Resolved, the proposed quote is approved and the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to execute said quote and authorize payment of the same and be it resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Pardon me,
Oh,
discussion.
I'm sorry.
So, Mike, when you came to the office,
Yep.
you were going to speak with the.
Yep, I had called Carl Weiss at first, because I'm sure Jimmy Familiar, county chairman. The county bids used to be emergency work only, which usually spring, that's when they came into play. They've taken it one step further now, and Luck Brothers, Fuller, Jeff Pitcher, which is out of business now, Noel, Jay Burnell, and Cabricki are on that county draft, which is a bid for manpower work. So you don't have to bid it. So I talked to Jimmy, and we ran it through Matt, and it was all listed. Yep. The numbers, if you look in the book, the county bids are right there all together. It's about the only difference you're gonna find is how long it's gonna take one contractor to not another. Luck was already there, so there was no, we saved a couple $1,000 moving their equipment in. We hired them, they did a beautiful job, yeah. So that's
I thought
what.
the difference should just be explained in case
Yeah.
town people
Yeah.
are wondering why.
Yeah, and I wanted to
It's right into the right.
make sure too, but, because I know that, I get that every year, and oh, it said emergency contract. Now they're taking it to the next step, but I called Carl to make sure before, once he missed going, and went through that.
Yep.
And this is somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 grand.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be short, 600. I tried to get a hold of Spike because he had missed, there was 2 pieces of the sidewalk.
You get 650.
Yeah. I called him this afternoon, but I couldn't catch it. So it was $13 a square foot, so it's 600.
When we spoke, you said you had
All right.
400,000 in funds
Yes.
for.
So
I think we
they just put a 4 in there, paid up against it. They'll pour the concrete. It's probably poured, I think, over there today.
He got the price of the can and put it on it. Thank you, Jim, and that's why I really wanted, because, you know, I didn't want somebody to take it up. You know, it's already done, and now you're making the motion.
Trying to get the county to strike me, but I can't get a hold of
Yeah.
Matt, because we're really quick, because I think the teachers are going to be
They
Wednesday.
were on Eccles Road today.
Were they on Nichols?
Yes.
Well, maybe you got a message, just didn't call me back.
He was up there with a spray can on Eccles Road.
All right, doing the layout.
Yep.
I'm hoping he gets it tomorrow. Wednesday will be a nightmare.
It'd be nice to have all that on one level all the
Yeah.
way through.
Thank you. Any other, roll call?
Mr. Garber?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Lena?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes. Well, the resolution for the emergency purchase of that three-sided rigid frame with the bottom cover. I need a motion and a second. Mr. Langland,
Oh, sorry.
second, Mr. Irwin.
A resolution for the emergency purchase of a three-sided rigid frame, open bottom culvert with precast head walls, footings, and wing walls from Camp Precast Incorporated for the Town Road Culvert Replacement Project by the Town of Peru Highway Department. Whereas the Town of Peru Town Board has found a need for a new three-sided rigid frame, precast head walls, footings, and wing walls, open bottom culvert for the Patton Road Culvert Replacement Project for the Town Highway Department at a price of $143,500, including shipping to job sites. And whereas the town engineering firm of Engineer Ventures and the Highway Department superintendent have determined that emergency purchase need is due to the extended lead time, the engineering and production time offered by Camp Precast Incorporated that would enable the town to provide a component of the project before the asphalt plant closures in early fall for the timely completion of the project. Now it is be it resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to sign all paperwork to execute this purchase as soon as possible.
I talked to Mike too, and Peter Gibbs went out there with you, right, Mike? And I
Yeah,
talked to you.
we met here Thursday of week, and Peter Gibbs and Mark from Engineering Ventures and threw out a different scenarios to try to get it this year, because as you know, if you've been up there, there's a plate sitting over it. The fasten lanes start to sink down. It has dried up, and at first, what they thought was on the outlet side where it was just dry laid rock, they thought that's probably where it was. The bottom is completely gone all the way across the road. So that's where it's going. We did talk about what they call a plastic arch, which is made by Contact. It's about the same price. We can get it in a week, but it does not last nowhere near the time frame. So we stuck with the three-sided box, and Engineering Ventures had designed it through camp precast. That's why I only got the one price. Just for the heck of it, tonight I did call the same company that I had got the other two for during the floods, Fort Miller. Earliest, I think, it would be the earliest, would be the end of November or December or in the next year. That's kind of the issue we're having. Regardless, the road's gonna have to be shot. I did pull the Fuller Road, because that's a three-sided, just to see where the numbers were. They're actually, they're comparable. That culvert on Fuller Road was boxed with 70,000. That sounds like a lot cheaper, but the head walls were already there. They just cut it out and they tied in, which was another 59.9. So that brought it to 129,000. So and that was in 2013. So it's comparable. This one's all precast. There won't be no cement trucks backing up or anything. They're gonna dig it, set it. We originally, it was a little engineered bump, because we were thinking 3 foot 6 or 9 inches high, 3.6 I think. But what happened when they brought it to camp, that only puts it at the screen bottom. It doesn't put it below. So what happened? You get a storm, it's going to eat under. We're going to be in the same boat. So that's where this would be 7'9". It'll be set 4 feet below screen bottom, but outside. He did call John Connell from the Army Corps of Engineers, and we were all shot. It's a negative declaration as long as we don't touch that. It was 129.9, and then when the Fuller's bid come in, because the box culvert had got rejected, they didn't want a floor. They come in at 248, so it's, you're looking at somewhere around there. I don't talk in the Lux. I'm sure Lux are going to bid it because they're hungry. They don't have a lot of work. Fuller's got a lot of work. So. But you got Kaburki that's up here now with the last 12 link. I'm sure you'll get several bidders.
So that the total package, tearing the other one all out, getting a crane in there to set the new one.
Yes, you will have to have the crane. They'll come, more than likely, the way it usually works, we'll move the trucks, set them off to the side, and then you get the crane back, and then set it once everything's up and poured. So it's usually 2 trips for the crane.
So you talked to Mike like that, and then I talked to you, talking, and I like, that's about $287,000 for the job, and you said it's like
Somewhere, I mean, I'm guessing that, and then I'm not
Yeah,
an engineer,
no,
and
no.
that's the meter.
Yeah, I mean, this is just for the culvert. So to pay for this,
You know, it's gonna be a bond.
right, I mean, that's what we gotta think about.
It's absurd is what it is.
I'm sorry.
It's absurd is what it is.
Is the brook still running?
It wasn't, it was dry.
And this is a trout stream, by DEC
No,
standards.
it's not, but it goes to a trout stream.
Yeah.
That's what puts it under the jurisdiction.
There's no water there now. We got no. Any other discussion? Nothing we can do, it's gotta be done. You know a date, Mike, what do you think? I mean, it's,
That was ordered Thursday. The earliest we're looking at is October 11th.
Plant closes when?
They tell you Thanksgiving, but that's what they said last year, we got snow up there. It shut a month early. We did talk about that. Worst comes to worst. If you decide to approve it, we could pour concrete on top just to have to dig it back out and just kind of the same to get us by to get over it for the winter. Talking probably 3 weeks to do the job. I mean, the road will be closed, obviously, so it can go. It's just gonna
How's that gonna work for school?
It's just
bus?
it's gonna be a little tough, because the school bus gonna have to go up the big hill and back in there. That's gonna be the tough part.
Any other questions?
Mr. Garber?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes, thank you. Okay, number 13. If anybody had to come up with these dates here for our budget schedule. I think Pam, we've let everybody know who's first, and you guys all got a schedule, so you don't know?
No, they don't.
Okay,
I
well,
like seeing it.
so Wednesday, September 18th, the special meeting to present the tentative budget, water, sewer, outdoor, and then the workshops is really the 25th is highway. October 9th is general. 16th is salary. 23rd is budget review. November 7th, public hearing, and November 18th, special meeting to adopt it. You guys look at those dates, Courtney, Mike, everybody, those dates gonna work for us?
My wife's due on the 20th, so.
Sorry?
I said my wife's due on the 20th.
You got plenty of time. You got some firemen that over there delivering the baby at 5, 6.
So you're being.
We all set with anything, guys? Thank you. Number 14, that's Maiden Lane Pump Station discussion issue. I guess, remember last meeting that Randy had talked and William had come in and his concern about selling the property. Well, Matt met with William, right, Matt?
So Ian called me, I guess. I spoke to him for a while, kind of told him the concerns that I had from a town point of view, putting in writing that the plan is to move the pump station. But kind of a meet in the middle would be if we have a current blueprint or schematic or whatever it would be that shows the pump station at different locations. I'm fine with providing a copy of that to the homeowner so they can give that to the realtor and say, these are the plans that Peru currently has. I don't know when or if it's ever gonna happen, but this is the plan, take it for what it is. Because that's really, that's the truth at this point. These are the plans, we don't know when or if, they're only plans. I think that's as far as the town can and should go, as far as putting anything in writing at all, that is the plan. But let somebody see what the engineer has come up with as of now, and whatever happens, happens. Mr. Quinn?
If I can add to that, I met with William and Deanna on the property. They have a buyer in place, this is last week, but the concern was a location of a garage that they wish to add. But zoning precludes, it's, because it's a corner lot, it's 55 feet from the center line of the road, and the lot is this, you know, it's not the pump station that's holding up this sale, it's the potential to add a garage. And
That's why it's just never good for the town to put anything in writing about
yeah,
anything with private
Right.
property.
Yeah.
Stay totally out of it. But can they hand you over the plans as they currently sit, if they want a copy of that, that's fine. That should be public knowledge right now anyway.
I guess that was a good idea, because at first he said, oh yeah, we'll give them a letter, but then we'll give Matt the section, or you really, you put that in writing and it's not moved, then look out, you know? Okay, number 15, sewer collection project update.
Wednesday, AES and myself, and if anybody else wants to attend, we'll be meeting a representative from DOT by Blue Hardware area. See how they're feeling about us and working in the right way and what they may allow.
What time is meeting?
11:30. I approached, I believe his name was Brian Guest, for the Board of Trustees for the community church about feasibility of an easement on their back driveway, trying to shrink up the lift station on Sanborn for Mr. Pellerin, because he was concerned with how much property it was going to take, and maybe routing some of our plumbing to that back driveway of the community center instead of up in Sanborn. redesigning things a little. They meet tomorrow night, and he's gonna present it to them. As I offered to go, at this point, you think that I need to, let's see what that goes. Other than that, that's about the only updates on that right now. Other than, I did provide some pictures in at that workshop. People asked about pictures. The tan colored building, that's kind of what the structure would be over the screening unit. Then they just gave us some fencing, which I most of us knew with different styles of fencing. And two of the pictures I took are town Plattsburgh pump stations. One with no fence around it, that's in front of Pizza Palace on the road. And the other one with the roof structure over the control panels, kind of like what we have. And that one's chain link that's over the side road next to Sam's Club and Walmart.
Can't you like a big apple over one of them, like they used to have at Shea State, and come up with a home
Sure
run?
you could, that's all it would
Hey,
cost.
what's
You
more
pretty much
for
do whatever you
that?
want, just the amount. So, are you a sponsor of that? You a firm?
Sure, yeah, we'll do a big apple over a pump station, that sounds like a good idea.
You heard that, right? That on record?
John, that's recorded, you got that, right?
They always want to do that when they painted the water tower. You guys want to sponsor that? We'll paint red and put a little stem and a leaf on it.
No, if we're sponsoring the water tower, the logo's the one.
Let go, according to the said issue 4, that you have to be putting some thought in there about the snow removal and stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to take care of
I mean,
that.
some, you look at the one in town Plattsburgh, the fence is far away, but my concern is the Sanborn one, because we're trying to keep such a small footprint, you know,
Yep,
for Mr. Peller and also.
yep. I'll go to.
But again, I think, I'm not sure where that is, they're just showing,
That's,
it's got that black,
that's down by Motion Creek.
oh, is it? Yeah. They also have one by, Sweeney's, on Route 9 by Smoker Creek. It's got a brick building, the controls are all inside the brick building. But ours would be more like the green shingled roof, all the control panels and everything out of it's exposed. But everything would be locked. The hatchways into the pit have padlocks and all the control panels should have locks on them.
I'll go to that meeting tomorrow night, because I'm the trustee court.
I did get in contact also with Mr. Swain, and he did not have a problem with us using the road easement for a driveway. And I talked to Matt, and we did talk about, might be something just to put that little section in now ourselves. Make it easier. That's all I have on the collection project.
Okay. Number 16 is, discussion is to change the December 23rd regular town board meeting to December 19th.
A motion?
No, it's just a discussion, I mean, is it, all right, you guys
Well,
want to go?
yeah, we, actually, Judy and I were setting up, since we're paying bills twice a month now, I going out to cancel the 23rd of December meeting and having, because there's 3 meetings that month, and do the bills, but I guess it was, must have been talked about to change it to the 19th, which would be a Thursday night. So I didn't know that part of it when I had asked.
Well, also, I think last year we ended up changing the day before Christmas too. Because especially, obviously, the weekend before Christmas, then it's the meeting on Monday, and then Christmas would be, Christmas Eve is Tuesday, Christmas would be Wednesday. So if anybody's planning on going out of town, it would make more sense to have it the Thursday before, and then we wouldn't have conflict with everybody trying to run around with chickens for Christmas.
I guess what I was asking is, do we need 3 meetings the month of December? That's what my question is.
Oh,
Isn't allowed to do the organizational meeting?
I'm sorry, no,
Is
that's
that
in
last
January.
one?
No, that's in
What was it?
January. That was what my question was.
Usually we have 3 meetings because we have that final, we have to do our transfers and all of that, our line item transfers and so that shows.
Doesn't matter to me. I just,
It's asked, right?
Or we can bring it back up.
I'm sorry.
I said we can bring it back up, you know, a little later once everybody's thought about it.
Okay. We're down to other business. Bob?
Nate Wilson called today
Yeah.
on the Davy Drive, and I actually haven't had a chance to speak to Mike about it yet, but Mike, what's the procedure to say that we're okay accepting that road and,
To be honest with you, I don't know, because I've never done.
okay, well, I'm sure it's just that Mike, as the highway superintendent, recommends to the town board that they accept that road. There's no name change, it's still gonna be Davy Drive. The utilities are in, I know Courtney's been there for the water and sewer and such, and
Is the turnaround big enough at the other end of it?
well,
That was my screw up.
we discussed,
That was the-
Okay,
we're all right, we, Mike, he's hashing out, he knows what has to be, has to be done, it's gotta go a little deeper there, and that's, you know. But, so Nate was, I don't think it has to be done at this board meeting, because, I mean, it's, but the procedure is generally, Matt, correct me, it's Mike as the highway superintendent, says to the town board, I recommend that this road be dedicated to the town, but again, it's the same, you know, it's a continuation of, what, about 600 feet?
Yeah.
About 600 feet, so,
No, 200.
huh?
Couple. 200.
200 feet? Okay. A big difference, I know that, I'm sorry. So, anyways, that's where we're at, and am I correct in that?
Yeah, so I guess what I'd like to see is like, if you could send an email or some sort of written communication to the board saying you inspected the new portion of the road on whatever date, whatever time you did it, that meets your qualifications, you were asking the board to adopt, or to accept, I guess, ownership of the road from where it used to end.
Yeah.
However long the new piece is, let's figure out if it's 2, 4, 600 feet, so Bob said does this spin off.
Yeah, I went over several times and inspected it.
Okay, so once,
As I told Nate tonight, I'm gonna accept it and recommend the board. I just didn't,
yeah, so I guess.
this is a first for me.
But that,
We went just from
Right.
one to the other, but we didn't change the gutters. I did look at that one out by the road.
Yeah,
That is just one box, so it would be probably.
Yeah, any overflow runs by that, over into the ditch, I don't see it coming up into the justice building.
And by rights, it should have, for whatever reason, wasn't, should have just stayed drained right along the road, down that way. But it goes straight out and actually, I didn't cross the Jimmy's property, go up the Bear Pond.
I don't know if it's an overdrill.
What about your water and sewer utilities?
I took care of that.
So what about your water and sewer utilities? That's gonna be approved too. So. Yep, if we're gonna take responsibility.
do you? Do you?
Yeah, I was there with the pressure testing.
yeah,
It's
it's the
the
same.
tested sewer.
They do the same thing then, because you know, the town board, when you were there, when the test was done, who observed it. Stuff like that.
Bob, anything else?
Received the final plan for the Washington Street Phase 2 subdivision, Orchard View subdivision. They'll be heard at the September 11th board meeting. That's all I got.
I met with County Donahue over to Washington. It's probably the one time I'm gonna agree with. You're gonna come off the old Washington, that's gonna continue to Washington, and it'll come out more in front of Maplewood. That's the original plan.
Maplewood.
Or Maplewood, I'm sorry. For some reason, if that doesn't, if it just does the loop and comes back out, then that will be still considered Washington. But if it continues and goes up in Maplewood like it's supposed to, the loop will have a different name. What this is gonna do is gonna change in from Mannix Road, just that little short, 100 and some feet, that will be a different name road with a stop sign. Because the right of way will be Washington straight in. If the address won't, that will not affect any property owners. Mike and Stephanie Ormsby, doesn't matter what happens, their address has to change because the numbers are out of whack. But right now, that's the only one that would be affected. So that's where we are in that.
You could always call that Liberty Street, right?
They said, we had a, you know,
Somebody had an issue down below.
did a lot of work for the town, or somebody that did a lot of stuff for the town, you can name it, whatever.
No, I'm just saying, this is the guy who had an issue with us with Liberty Street down below. wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he still did, but I'm not better than that.
That was a joke. No.
Yeah.
I got it.
It's bad when you gotta-
I didn't get it as a joke, I think it was.
No, we wanted to call it a joke.
Okay.
It's a risky friendship.
There you go.
Bob, question, how did that pool go over on Washington? In the ground?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Craig. Quicker than I am. It's in the ground. I was there was certainly some groundwater, and they put down about 6 ton of crusher, so, nice pool.
Right now,
Huh?
right now.
Right now, yep. There's some discussion on doing stuff with that retention basin there. And certainly some engineering has to be discussed. And our town engineer will be reviewing more, and it has to be Mr. Farrell's approval too, so. But there's a lot of work to be done yet. Just to-
Yeah.
The pool, as a pool, it went in fine.
Okay. I know the day, the day they dug it, it was full of water.
Yep, oh yeah, yeah, they pumped it out, and then they put a bit of crusher. Because they about 5 ton.
Okay.
Yep.
And you already had it? Courtney?
That's it.
No?
The back truck was down a couple weeks ago, like everybody knows, it ended up being the turbo. A little over $4,000, they gave it built tonight. Jimmy called around and found one. I guess that's a deal.
It is.
For us. Yeah. The new equipment on our SCADA system, we finally got hooked up with Aqualogics a couple weeks ago. We started this last year. We mounted all the antennas in-house, so 100 feet on the water tower, and did all the wiring, the control panels, and finally got them up. They redid all our programming, we had all programs. Now we have more control from the computers, from home. And we can see more monitors at the water plant, monitoring the quality of water coming off our carbon filter. That was nice. Saved me trips going up to the PRV and already down the road. I went last week to AES for a meeting to look at, they had a company doing a presentation on UV disinfection. It was a Suez company. I'm gonna go to another one. I believe it's 2 weeks. Start looking at our options for disinfection. They are still working on that for the village plant, for all the upgrading down there. We have started pumping down the lagoon down there. I don't know if anybody ever goes down that way, but if you see it, we are pumping it down so we can survey the bottom. See what's in it. Some good news, Christopher Mainland took and passed his wastewater 2A license. So now we do another licensed operator for the wastewater plant. Dan Gagne is working down there now. He starts his classes in October. So hopefully we get him on, and then we'll have 3 wastewater
Thank you.
Dave,
We've been here long enough, I'm not gonna lay down.
I got a quick one. It's hard for me to say this, but Mr. Gwinnett did a very nice job recently. There was a property in the village that had been out of regulation for a while with excess weeds and grass and just being overgrown. Served a couple violations. We finally got the homeowner into court last week in front of Judge Cabana. The person pled guilty to violating the town code. A hefty fine was assessed and then suspended, which gives the homeowner maybe 30 days to get into compliance, and then remain in compliance for a year. They just have to pay the fine. If one or both of those things don't happen, then the fine does have to get paid. But it sounded like there was a pretty good meeting of the minds to finally get this property cleaned up. But I think it was one right in the middle of the village. But Bob did a very good job of that, even with him being as busy as he is.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
Good job too, you were there with Bob.
He was busy, busy.
Bob is busy, but he carved out time to go to court.
Who's the attorney with you?
I wish it was Greg Leduc, but I did have to put up Mission Fabric. How's that?
Touche. Now you guys are even, right?
Okay.
Dave,
I went to protect him in case the guy jumped him.
That's right. Dave was there too as our bodyguard. So it was nice.
Randy was there too.
No, for that one.
No?
Not that day.
No, his shoulder was stiff, I think.
He's a good bodyguard.
We saw him put ice on himself.
Saving it for Foxwood.
He would have been a good.
Dan?
Nothing, working on the budget stuff, and the concerts are all done, and they're well attended, so.
I want to say thank you. You did a great job for the concerts. They were great. They're well attended last night. I'm sorry that there's a gentleman here that I won't mention that band played for his wedding, and I expected to see him there, but he wasn't there. But the band was great.
I had my granddaughter. So
I didn't say
things take precedence.
Yeah, I did have one more thing. We are gonna flush hydrants, the third through the sixth in September. Mr. Ryan put that on his website.
And you put it on the.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, public comments on agenda items only.
I'm a little bit confused about how Luck Brothers had, how did they happen to pave that? I'm a little confused why they did it instead of the town.
Because they had to mill it, they did all the work, and I couldn't get to it, to be honest with you. And they got the electronics, and with that nice looking school project, I wasn't gonna use our paper. We're still having trouble. We just ordered the parts and they came in wrong again. And I wasn't taking a chance of that street popping up and down like they did Brown.
They had to mill the street?
Along the sidewalk and along by both sides of the road. In the intersections, we usually use all sables. If you'd have heard the complaints, Dave will vouch for it. That machine, all it does is do a trench. I'd offered to buy the parts for all Sable's machine several years ago, and they didn't get them, and it basically just dug the hole in the ground. You've got a bump and it's wicked. I did use the city, because we're working with the city. They came up and fixed them for us, but I could not get the city for School Street. They had both their machines running because they're running the streets in the city, so.
Okay, they did do a beautiful job. No doubt about that. I was thinking about the board vacancies there. I think maybe the board, this is not a question, but a comment, I guess. I think the best way to get the volunteers is to ask them personally, like the board members approach people. And some of those folks up on Buttonwood there who zoomed in here for the yellow line, maybe they'd like to get involved in town government a little more. It's the only time I've ever seen them at a town board meeting is when they had the yellow line. And it'd be nice to get them involved.
I think what Mike said, though, those people that were
there,
have all left.
All those people? There must have been 10, 12 people there.
And I will agree with John, I was on that zoning board for 12 years. We had a lot, quite a few when I was on. Just couldn't get a quorum, and and I can kind of stick up for the volunteers for the alternates, because they come to the meetings, they won't come 5, 6 meetings in a row and never get called, so, you know, and kind of say, well, why waste my 2 hours to come down here and not get on? It's one of them deals. It's always been a problem. It's hard to get people
They could,
to volunteer today.
they could participate in the meeting, they just couldn't be vocal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they could share their knowledge and stuff, so I mean, it would take a special person, but yeah, I know what you're saying. The pay's not very good.
Yeah.
It's a tough job.
Bob, have we heard any word about Kingdom Hall?
Yep, they're still dealing with some engineering issues, the health department, they were back in to see me about 2 weeks ago, it's going forward. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Okay, because I went by and all the stakes are done.
Yeah, no, it's still progressing, yep.
All right.
It may not happen until next year, but yeah, I mean, yeah.
Anybody else? I've got a couple of things here. Bob was there and I stopped today, tonight, by Thursday, those trailers and stuff will all be gone at Stewart, so that's a good thing. They've done a good job.
Yeah, so, but just as Jimmy said, by Thursday, they'll be gone, demolition crew from Syracuse is over there now, and, they're just crushing them and gonna go in dumps, they're using their own trucking, actually, they're not going in dumpsters. They're using their own trucking and, all the other.
And one other thing is like, for me personally, they had a supervisor's meeting the other day, and we're gonna get a hefty total charge on our election. Last year we paid, it was $15,000. This year it's gonna be $25,000. $10,000 boost in our board of election is gonna charge us. So just when you guys get ready, I had seen it and talked to a couple of people about it, and so I asked Brandy and Boyd, and she sent to Brandy and Pam some of the reasons, but not limited to next year being a presidential year, as there being a presidential primary in addition to the primary in June. But $10,000 is quite a little.
Any of that involve extra security?
I'm sorry?
Does any of that involve any form of extra security for voting?
No, not anymore. I do know, and just seemed like quite a shock. We're gonna have to just forever, but I know a couple of supervisors talked to Greg and somebody else there, and he said,
Is that our price is $10,000 if it's a bigger town, is it more, or is everybody?
no. Smaller towns, one of them was 4. Ours, it goes according to the voters and stuff, too, you know. Town of Plattsburgh is more than us. But I do know, and I shouldn't say, but I do know one of the supervisors who brought it up, that just asked, you know, we're always talking about we have to cut our budget.
Resolution authorizing the post audit payment of city claims, bills, and invoices of the town. Whereas the town board has reviewed and audited the following claims, bills, and invoices for services rendered and goods provided to the town in August 2019. Now, approve vouchers in August 2019, 201901052 through and including 201901127 abstract dated 8/26/2019 for the dollar amount totaling $337,652.79. Of that, $13,066.50 is wired credit cards and prepaid, and $324,586.29 is remaining prepaid. And whereas the town board finds said claims, bills, and invoices to be acceptable in form, reasonable, and amount. Now therefore be it resolved that payment of the aforementioned claims, bills, and invoices is approved, and the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to make such payment, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect.
Roll call.
Mr. Garber?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes. Motion carries. Motion to adjourn. Mr. Langley, Mr. Byron, on favor? Aye.